Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It is Boho Bunting. Can't speak. It is Boho Bunting Day. I'm so excited I can't even get my words out. This is week 8. I'm going to do 12 altogether, so I'm getting there. I've got ideas for the rest of the pennants that I've got to make. This week I'm going to focus on Suffolk Puffs, or at least one Suffolk Puff, and beads. So let's stop wasting time and have a look at the desk. So these are the little beads that came in the Bazaar scrap bags. These are the boho beads I made last week. I thought I might use one of these to embellish this week's pennant. These beads also came from the Bazaar scrap bags, and I haven't used any of them yet. Sari ribbon pieces I bought from Bazaar as well. Those were a couple of tassels I made myself years ago. They're just made by cutting and folding embroidery floss and then gluing the folded end into one of these ready-made tassel caps, which has a hole in it, so you can just put jumping on, thread it onto it, attach it to anything or stitch it to anything. So that's those. I might use one or two of those. This piece of silk was out of the Bazaar scrap bags, but then I've thrown in, I couldn't resist it, 3 pieces of silk from the new scrap packs that I got from Steph Francis. Really enjoy them. I've done an unbagging of the Steph Francis ones and an earlier one of the Bazaar scrap bags, so you can find them. I think I would have put them in the unboxing playlist. I'll check. I'll make sure I've put them in the unboxing playlist if you wanted to find those and have a look and see exactly what you get in those packs. I would thoroughly recommend them. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with them. I've already ordered some more of these and I've had several lots of these too. Okay, so this is my kind of Boho Bunting basic recipe, I call it. Now, I said right at the beginning of starting this project that if anybody else wanted to follow along with me and wanted to have this basic recipe, I would happily put a PDF together and make it available. Nobody else has asked for it, but Debbie, if you're watching, Debbie has asked me to do a PDF, so I will do that later on today probably and make it available. If anybody else would like it, just let me know. I don't have a way of putting it somewhere and linking to it. My son usually does that for me, but what I will do is email you the PDF. So if you look on my if you'd like the PDF, have a look on my YouTube channel homepage, click on the About bit, and then you'll see a little bit comes up that says view email address. Click on there and you'll find the email. Just email me there and I will ping you back the PDF. I should have it ready within a couple of days at most. This is my basic recipe. I've got 5 different pennant shapes. This one was just a little streamer shape, but then I realised I'll do this properly when I do the PDF. Then I realised I hadn't got this shape, so I added that in last week or the week before. So I've got 5 basic pennant shapes, 5 applique shapes and 5 basic steps. Very easy. Step 1 is to cut my pennant shape, and I think this week I'm going to go back to the rectangle, which I did first. So that's a triangle but shorter. That's the new shape that I just added. Triangle, that's the kind of fishtail shape. Another triangle. So I've got plenty of triangles, but I've only got one of this and one rectangle. Seeing as I'm using Suffolk Puffs, it might make more sense to do this shape. No, I'm going to do a rectangle. I've just got it in my head to do a rectangle, but I might make it slightly wider this time. So I take my pennant shape and then I divide it. Either leave it whole, leave it as one piece, or divide it into 2, 3 or 4 sections. And there are different ways. There are lots of different ways you could divide it, but I've kind of given myself some basic examples there. And you could use the same layout for all the different pennant shapes. I'll draw them out properly for the PDF as well. So I'm going to use 3. I'm going to divide it into 3. I'll probably go with this format. Looks a bit like a computer mouse. With one across the top and then the 2 sections there. So then I add the fabric pieces into those sections and then pick one applique shape. So in this case, because I'm going to make the Suffolk Puff my focal point, it will be a circle. It doesn't need to be that big. It could be a ready-made circular motif, like I wonder if I can find one quickly. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a button, you know. In this case, it's going to be a Suffolk Puff, and it won't be that big in relation to the rectangle. So I'll keep those. It's sometimes handy to have these applique shapes, even just to help you get the composition together, really. So once I put my fabric sections together, added my applique, then I go in with decorative stitches and any other bits and bobs I want to add, and finally I add a second backing and then finish the bottom edge. So it might be with fringing or tassels or beading or whatever. This time I think what I might do for a change is some beaded fringing with perhaps one of these smaller boho beads in the middle. I think that could work. Yep, I think that will work. That's what I'm going to do. So first thing is to cut that basic shape from plain cotton as my backing. Have a quick peek now. I've got to show you. Completely digressing. This is a beautiful piece of Japanese fabric I bought from work yesterday. I just couldn't resist. I just had half a metre because it's quite expensive, but look how beautiful. Very different from what I'm working with now, but to me, begging to be stitched into. I might turn it into some kind of a bag, I'm thinking. Yeah, so that's that. I digress. That's a piece of the Bazaar silks you will have seen before if you've watched any of these others, and these are all the packs I bought from Steph Francis that arrived yesterday. I loved them so much I've already ordered 6 more packs. And some other bits and bobs. I will show you them when they come. They've got amazing things on there. They even had the cocoons dyed. They must have, the silk must be dyed while it's still in the cocoon, and they had the kind of empty cocoons for sale. I've never seen that before. Fascinating. I'm trying to think what I can do with them to have an excuse to buy some. Yeah, so you can see these are beautiful, and I've got a fantastic idea for these, but I've got to finish my boho bunting first. So that's that. I was looking for some plain cotton. I have to get up with my bun. Here we go. I think this will work. So this is still a piece of the same old sheeting that I've been using quite a lot. So yeah, that's a little wider than this, but it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to leave that seam. I don't think that will matter either. So there's nothing precise here. I want it sort of roughly the same length. I am going to be putting a long tassel on it though, so I'm wondering should I make it a little bit shorter to allow for the tassel being so long. But then I want room to add all of these fabrics as well. My usual subtle choice of colours. So that's going to be my rough layout, and then I'm going to have the Suffolk Puff in the middle with the orange centre showing, and then I'll add some green into this piece, green embroidery, something very simple, possibly just running stitches, because the focus is going to be the Suffolk Puff. If I make it too short it'll be all out of proportion. No, it's just going to have to be long. Okay. So I'm just going to cut that across there. I guess I could cut that seam off, but I'm not going to. That's step 1. Cut the pennant shape, and then got everything I need is in my dinky little bag. So just pulled these out. This ruler's a bit short really, but it's nice and small for the bag. So this is a heat erasable pen. I'm going to just divide that across there. Oh, it can come out. I've shown this process before, so I'm not going to bother going all the way through, because if you watch the previous videos you'll see me do exactly the same thing. I'm sure you don't want to watch it again. So I will, in a minute, off camera, I will apply, I think I'll go with that fabric there, or it may be that I do it that way. No, prefer that fabric there and that fabric there. That's what I'm going to do. So I will apply them in the same way that I have before, and then I'll do a basting stitch all around just to keep everything together. I will then make my Suffolk Puff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stop the camera now and apply these pieces, and then come back and show you the next step. Here we go. I have pieced those fabrics together and applied them to my backing fabric. Just used a running stitch. Those seams aren't going to take any strain at all. There's going to be a lot of decorative top stitching on here to hold it all together. They really don't need to be strong seams. And a running stitch is so nice and quick and easy, because this is the boring bit really. This is creating the canvas to do all the fun part on. So I like that to be nice and quick. I do my kind of basting stitches usually just inside where I'm going to actually do the final seam to add the backing, so that the basting stitches will show. I always pick a thread that I like the colour of against the fabric, so that if they show, I will like the look of it. I usually do like the look of all the background stitching showing, but that's maybe just me. You can, if you didn't want that look, you would just make sure the basting stitches are outside where your final seam line is going to be. Because in the end, once I've done all my pretty bits, I will put another piece of this cotton on the face to face with this, stitch around these three sides, turn it inside out, and then I'll have a nice neat back, so I won't see any of this at all. Right, so I've cut a circle of that patterned pink silk for my Suffolk Puff. I just drew around this coaster I happen to have on my desk. And I'm just going to run a running stitch around the outside of it. I thought I'd show you this in case there's anybody else out there who, like me before last week, didn't know this. This is called a quilter's knot. So I saw Sarah Humphrey do it first. She's brilliant. I'll leave a link to her. Check. Oh, she's brilliant for explaining all the embroidery stitches. Really nice to watch, and the films are lovely and clear. She explains it really well. And also, then I saw, I don't know if it was Sarah or Rachel on Roxy's Creations, because they're doing the Journal of Stitchery at the moment, which I'm also going to join in with. So I've seen them both do it recently, and I'd never seen it in my life before. Apparently it's called a quilter's knot, and it's how you do the knot in the end of the thread. So you get your needle. It probably would have been easier to show you in embroidery thread. You hold your thread alongside the needle like that, with the end pointing towards the eye, and then you wind this 2 or 3 times depending on how thick the thread is. I'm just going to do this 3 times around the needle. Keep hold of that fairly firmly so you don't drop it, but loosely enough that you can pull the needle through, and then just pull the needle through, and you get a lovely little knot. Ha! Cool. I used to hate tying knots in the end of my thread. It used to just annoy me. But now I quite enjoy having to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to... I'll cut this bit out because you don't need to sit and watch me do running stitch around a circle. I'm just coming to the end now. Let's pull you down a little bit. So when you make these, if you want a nice neat finish, you can just turn the edges under, just turn them under once and do your running stitch there with it turned under. I quite like a raggedy frayed kind of edge, so I've just left it raw, and I've just done my running stitch about 1/2 centimetre in from the edge. I haven't done it too close because the silk will fray away and I don't want it all coming undone. And I'm just coming to the end now. So once you've gone all the way around, all you do is pull the circle up, gathering up all your stitches, and try and arrange them sort of evenly around that's going to be, I want to leave, again, you can close them up tight or you can leave them a little bit open. I want it to be a little bit open because I'm going to put a little piece of this orange sari ribbon inside to show through. So that's about the right amount of opening. I'm going to just fasten off my thread here so it doesn't go any further, and then I'll adjust the spacing of the stitches. I just need to, oh, it's tangled up now. I just need to anchor it. This bit doesn't want to behave itself, so I'm going to just stitch it down. Yeah, so that's the basis of my little Suffolk Puff. It's a very messy little Suffolk Puff because, like, I like messy. But you can, as I say, make them really nice and neat and round and finished at the edges. And sometimes I do that. I just cut my little bit of sari ribbon, put that inside. There we go. Because this silk is being a bit badly behaved and bouncing up and things, I'm going to just run another little stitch all the way around just to hold it in place, and then once I've done that I will just fray away more of that edge. So I'm going to do that off camera a minute because I need to have it under my nose where I can see what I'm doing. Well, I decided I wasn't happy with that one. It's not contrasty enough, and also this particular silk was really floppy and quite difficult to make it behave. I shall save this because it'll make a lovely background piece for something else to layer up with something else or whatever, or maybe even this time. But so I got this other piece of silk which has a little bit more body to it, and it just a little bit more oomphy colour as well. So I've done exactly the same thing, run my gathering stitch around. Let's bring you down again. Run my gathering stitch around. This time I've put the little piece of sari silk inside first, just to make that a little bit easier to manage, and I'm just in the process of pulling up my running stitches. So I'll get it to the hole, to the point where the hole is about the size I want, then fasten it off, and then I can adjust my gathers once I've got the stitching kind of anchored. I can also fray my edges out a little bit more because I just really love that frayed. Look, that should do it. Right, so just snip that off and then just adjust my gathers a little bit. So that's it, that's my silky Suffolk Puff. And I might just, perhaps I'll wait till this is all anchored down and then I will fray that away a bit more. I just like that little glimpse of orange, and I think the other thing about this fabric is it's got those little kind of orange squares in it as well, so it helps to bring that out, so I like that. So then I will just quickly pin this on here. I'll run a tacking stitch around here just to anchor it all down, and then I will just concentrate on doing some decorative stitching around this. But I think with this one I'm mainly just going to do running stitches in different colours around here, possibly a bit of chain stitch. I've got all of my colours of stranded cotton here, in all the colours I've been using. I'll make sure I bring some green onto here. But yeah, I don't know why, I'm just kind of thinking just running stitches this time. I've still got the fancy beaded edging to do, but that will happen once I've done my decorative stitching and got my backing on. Then I'll add the beading. So I'm going to do that, and then I will come back tomorrow, show you my stitching. I'll have got my backing on by then. I won't bother showing you that because that's just the same as I did the first time. And then I will have a little experiment with all of these beads, and I think, yeah, I still quite fancy adding in one of these. It doesn't have to go on the bottom necessarily, maybe it could just go there, then I wouldn't have to worry about the length, would I? Oh, I don't know. No, it looks a bit funny. A bit funny, doesn't it? We'll see. We'll see once the once everything is together. So that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Show you how I got on and finish up. Oh, let's and finish up with the beaded fringing. I've got so many ideas, and for the I think next week it's all going to be about holes. Sounds odd. Probably will be odd. But yeah, I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas in my head for that one. What else had I thought of? I want to have a go at that. I don't know what it's called, but it's where it's a kind of quilting where you do parallel lines of running stitch, following a pattern, like a swirly pattern that will work perfectly for these. And then you run a line of quilting wool between the top the top fabric and your backing fabric with a needle, so it ends up as a raised. I can't think what it's called. I'll have to look that up. Quite fancy trying a bit of that because I've not done it before. Maybe combine that with some couching, and as a centre point I'd like to do another mirror. I want to have another go at the shisha embroidery before I finish this bunting, because I just really enjoyed that, and I've got a whole box full of mirrors to use up, so I might use a square mirror and do some, I don't know, haven't decided. And one other thing I've already thought I'd like to try, I think there are a few others. I've made notes, fortunately, because my head is like a sieve, but I've bought from work again. You see, this is why I have no wages left. I bought this plain white Habitai silk, and I want to have a go at painting on it with my Inktense pencils. So I thought it would make a nice centre point for one of these, maybe for the last one as my little finale. Watch this space. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Debbie and anybody else who would like it, I'm on it with that PDF. I'll have that ready within a couple of days at the most, and I'll give you a shout. Thanks very much, everybody, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.